Howdy everyone, Warsarcy here, and today we'll be looking at Farm for Your Life on Nintendo Switch. Farm for Your Life is a more casual farming game where time management is key. By day you'll be managing the farm by planting crops, fertilizing them, watering them, and of course picking them, as well as taking care of livestock, and by night you'll be defending the farm against zombies. I ended up turning that off when I switched over from story mode to endless mode, because that's something you can do, and I'll tell you why here in just a second. Besides the farm, there's also a church that you can manage by building stuff to make and serve food, as well as other things to help you expand. There's also a merchant by the farm that you can trade with. Now let's talk about the story mode. It needs to be said that I really couldn't play much of it because the game ended up erasing my save. After trying to load my newest save, this happened. From this point, I wasn't able to move or do anything. I couldn't even exit to the main menu and had to instead exit the entire game. But basically, from what I got of the prologue of the story, after being introduced to how things work around the farm, a heavy storm destroys it, and then there's a zombie apocalypse, and you've got to rebuild the farm from scratch and protect it. Besides that, I didn't get much from it, as after my save got deleted, I decided I'd rather just play endless mode with night attacks off so that there'd be one less thing to worry about and I could just focus on managing the farm as best as I could. The story mode is apparently only a few hours anyways. The controls felt kind of clunky with this game. It took me a bit to get used to the invisible grid that you basically walk on in every direction, and pretty much at all times it's noticeable that you're basically on an invisible grid. Simple things like putting down a fence also were kind of confusing to me, as the first few times I tried doing it, it felt like sometimes it would just connect while other times it would remove it or put it diagonally, and I'd end up running back and forth trying to actually get it to be a straight fence. It's also sometimes bothersome trying to pick something up when it's close to anything else. For example, the water can when it's by the wood cart. I tried picking up the can and it would switch between trying to pull the cart, grab a piece of wood, or running to use the water pump. I'm trying not to seem nitpicky with this game, as I've said this before that I'm not much of a farming game person, but as always I try to be objective, and with that having been said, I've had an easier and better time with basically every other farming game I've played. I will give them credit where it's due that they tried to be a bit more unique with this game, as it's the first one I've played where you have to fend off zombies at night rather than just going to sleep to restore your energy. In fact, the absence of energy in this game is actually refreshing, as it lets you just focus on getting stuff done. So yeah, there's a few things that I feel hold this game back, both bug-wise and mechanics-wise, but thankfully it looks like the developers have pushed out a few small updates since the game's release, and while I'm not entirely sure what they fixed so far, hopefully they're polishing up the bug side of things a little bit and making it a little more playable. After all, losing your save is probably the worst bug a game can have, but for all I know, they could have already fixed that bug by now. All I can say is the game has potential, and maybe by the time you watch this review, things will already be polished up and good to go. So if you want this game yourself, it's available on the eShop for $20, but at the time of this video, it's on sale for $13. I'd like to thank Secret Item Games for sending me the review key. This is Warsarcy on the Game Clips channel, and I'm out.